Well, good morning or good evening, everybody, depending on where in the world you're joining us from. I'd like to welcome you to our presentation today, where we'll be speaking about Basis Bilingual School Shenzhen. So thank you for joining us. We're really excited to share some insights about this very unique school that we do have as part of our network. And today in the presentation, we'll be covering a few particular areas. We'll be talking about our school, Basis Bilingual School Shenzhen specifically. We'll then also speak to some of the aspects of the broader Basis International Bilingual Schools network. And then lastly, we'll talk about some of the benefits and visa requirements to work with our schools in China. And I look forward to sharing that information with you then. At the end of the presentation, we'll be having a Q&A session. So if you have any questions along the way, you can use the Q&A functionality of the presentation just in the menu item, in menu bar at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Just hit the Q&A and go ahead and ask questions. We'll be answering questions there at the end of the presentation. So today, we do have a very unique setup. So we do have a number of individuals that will be participating today. So I'm really excited to hear from the broader leadership team of Basis Bilingual School Shenzhen. So presenting today will be myself. I'm Tim Smith, Vice President of Global Talent with Basis International Schools, joined with Connor Jones, Head of School, Yifei Wu, who is the Vice Head of School. Tony Cagle is the International Recruiter who works specifically with Basis Bilingual School Shenzhen. And then we're also joined by Victoria Calandino, who is the Head of Early Childhood, Tanya Charette, who is the Head of Lower Primary, James Rock, who is the Head of Upper Primary, and finally, we also have David Krupski, who is the Head of the Upper School, will be speaking with us today. So starting off, again, wonderful school that we're presenting today, and I guess to be my pleasure to introduce Connor Jones. Connor is the Head of School of Basis Bilingual Shenzhen. So Connor, thank you for joining us today. Thanks for bringing your team, and we're really excited to hear some great insights about your school and what you have to share with prospective individuals considering an opportunity with Basis Bilingual School Shenzhen. So Connor, welcome.
Thanks, Tim. I appreciate this opportunity to speak with you, Tony, whom we meet with weekly, and also the people that are joining this webinar, either live or down in the future to get some information. We are doing, as Tim mentioned, we're doing a little different because I believe that one of the real strengths of our school and our team is the professionals that we have. Those of you who may be joining us, our teachers who are amazing, and the administration. I have a very shared model of leadership. We have a strategic leadership team that meets on Tuesdays, a larger team that meets on Thursdays, and we try and make the decisions for our school collaboratively and together. One of the reasons for that is the Basis Bilingual School here in Shenzhen was founded in 2020. That means we're just entering our 4th year. So if you're interested in getting into a foundation school where you can make a difference in what's happening, we are not bound by our history, but we are certainly open to our future. It's really quite amazing. I feel the opportunity here is great. We are pre-K through currently grade 11. We started with a grade 9 class and we've added one each year. So next year we'll be adding grade 11 and the following grade 12. We are the first Basis Bilingual school in the network. There's Chengdu has now opened and there's others in line. But as such, we've been able to learn a lot about the beautiful opportunities and benefits of being a bilingual school, and we'll speak to that down the road a little bit. Our school is currently 1,650 students. Next year, we'll grow to 1,850 and cap out the following year as we add grade 12 at just around 2,000 students. So it's a very big school, but what that also does, it brings all the opportunities, a very large staff. There's a lot of really great things about being a school this size. I previously was head of school at a school of about 750, and I have to tell you, this is a very different experience, but it's really quite wonderful. The number of things that are going on, it's just exponential once you get to that size. Some of the people that I have with us, and I'd like to move on to the team that I have with us. Dr. Yifei Wu is in charge of our bilingual school connection to the Education Bureau. So we'll speak about that later, but it's one of the few things that's different. As a bilingual school, we make sure that we have a connection to our community. Dr. Wu.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. James. Good morning, not morning, good to see you guys all. I'll talk about, our students and our curriculum. So if you look at the passport, most of our kids hold the Chinese local passport. For the international school, they have their foreign passport. At the same time, they're all Chinese kids for the most part. They're great kids. They're kind. They work hard. They're really respectful. You're gonna love them once you get them into your classrooms. Then I'll move to our cutting edge curriculum. So for our school, although we're a bilingual school, but our core curriculum is based on the international school. Everything is almost the same. But since we're a bilingual school, we had to integrate the Chinese compulsory education curriculum. But since the beginning of the school 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we're able to incorporate the Chinese compulsory national curriculum into our basic curriculum. But at the same time, didn't interfere the core basic curriculum at all. So overall, you're gonna love our kids. You're gonna love our curriculum. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Wu. One of the great things about having a school as our size is that our ECE, primary, middle, and high school are all together on this very beautiful campus that we'll speak to a bit later. It's my pleasure to introduce Victoria Calandino, who joined us last year and who is the head of division for our early childhood education. Vicki?
Hello. So everybody calls me Vicki. So if you come to our school, I hope that you'll call me Vicki as well. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about my team and the ECE division. We have three different year groups. So we call them at our school PK1, PK2, and Kinder. PK1 are the 3 to 4 year olds, PK2 are the 4 to 5 year olds, and Kinder are the 5 to 6 year olds. Those of you coming from some other countries may be used to 5 to 6 year olds being even in grade 1, but for us, they're part of ECE. And we have homeroom teachers where they work together in a co-teaching model, and we also have specialist teachers. So we're very lucky that we have PE teachers, we have an art teacher, we have a music teacher, and all 3 year groups combine to have 17 different classes, and we're on 3 different floors. When you come into our school, you enter in, oh, yeah, there we go. I just saw the picture. You can see two of the things I'm about to talk about. When you enter our school in the quad, the one on the top left there is our inner courtyard, which is one of our play areas. And then in the middle, you can see the blue track, which is where the children have another second area where they have their outdoor play, and that just gives them a chance to blow off some steam, run around. We have scooters and bicycles, and you can't see the playhouses, but they have playhouses back there as well. And we also have one more area for the kinder children. We have a climbing area for them. So inside there's a gym. So there's a lot of great places for those kids to exercise their body and to exercise their imagination. Our team work really well together, and for people who have been on their own in a foreign country working with kids who have a different language with them, you'll be very pleased to know that with our co-teaching model, you work together with somebody who is bilingual, and we use that to really grow the kids' understanding of school if they're little ones in PK1, and then to grow their understanding of concepts and both their languages. We have a play-based model, and there's some links you'll recognize to the Common Core if you really want to have a curriculum to align it to, but we target developing our kids, developing their understanding of the world, and developing their sense of selves. That's our biggest focus. We have been very lucky, you can see by our resources there, when we need something to grow and strengthen what our children are trying to learn. We've been very lucky that we've been able to get that. And our next big area of exploration for our little ones is going to be ICT, and we're going to be getting some fun things there for them. And I've just discovered some little mini robots, and our kids are going to have some exploration with that as well. So I hope you get to be part of that adventure with us.
Thank you. What is the focus there? I hope you see Vicky's excitement. And a couple of things there is that we are moving to a full play-based learning model, which is exciting for us. Our own faculty are learning more about it. And the idea that is like, hey, let's bring in some robotics, and it was just quickly adopted. So I'm very pleased about that. Our ECE dovetails very nicely into our lower school. And joining us this year is Tanya Charette, who is head of lower primary. She brings a wealth of knowledge and experience. Particularly interesting is her knowledge about literacy, reading, and language acquisition in these critical early years. Tanya.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. My name is Tanya Charette, and I'm thrilled to be the newbie this year of grades 1, 2, and 3. And I'm also going to use notes to guide my thinking since I am new. As Connor mentioned, we're a fast-growing school with classrooms. We have grades 1, 2, and 3. We have 8 classrooms in grade 1, 8 classrooms in grade 2, and 7 in grade 3. We use 3 floors, and we have lots of facilities and space and a lot of exciting things and passion going on. As we enter quarter 2, as you know, lower primary students are in a very powerful and expansive developmental window. Grades 1 and 2, it's an exciting year for an explosion of reading and writing development, lots of language, vocabulary, and language acquisition skills. So they are exploring a lot with books in both languages, math concepts, lots of small group and opportunities to talk and share ideas and collaborate. In grades 3, our students will make that gradual transition from learning how to read and write to reading and writing, of course, in more sophisticated ways in a higher level, using higher level skills in preparation for the upper primary, which is grades 4 and 5. So these are very important developmental years, and we believe that ECE and lower primary school are the foundation for all future learning. We do our best at meeting each child's needs and our mission statement. To support the needs of our learners, we also have ELL teachers. We have 2 ELL teachers at each grade level, grades 1, 2, and 3, that work alongside our classroom teachers and support, again, language development, early phonemic skills, phonic skills, and sight words and high frequency words. We also use both an inclusive differentiated model in addition to some pull-out and targeted instruction at their points of need. We are also lucky this year to have 2 learning support deans who apply early intervention skills for children who may need those, and who also support children with longer term needs, at the moderate level. Let's see, what else do I want to share with you? We're a driven team, we're a passionate team of learners, very diverse. We have teachers from all over the world, different skill levels, and we continue to do professional development and use growth mindset to grow together. Let's see. And as was mentioned, as a young school in its 3rd year, I'm thrilled to be here during this exciting early chapter as we move our learners and our school forward. So it's very exciting. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. So that's our lower primary, and we have our primary divided into lower and upper. Partially that's an example of our scale, our size, but also because of our learners. We have a very advanced curriculum, and we have focused children who really do want to learn. And so sometimes our grade 4 and 5 might actually look a little bit more advanced, and it's important to have a focus on those grades with an awareness of those curriculums. So joining us now and joining us this year is Mr. James Rock, who came over from the international school in Czechia and has just done an amazing job with his team, with the school. I'm very proud to have James on the team. James?
Thank you, Connor. Such kind words. Hello, everyone. My name is James Rock. I am head of upper primary, which are grades 4 and 5. One of the fascinating things about our team here and your thought process of perhaps moving to China is some of the background that you all have. So I'm going to share a little bit about that before I talk about some of the instructional practices in grades 4 and 5. You can go next. I was a teacher for 13 years in the U.S., a Title I school outside Baltimore, Maryland. I had gotten my degree from Hopkins and started working with their Center for Talented Youth. It's a program that works with highly gifted and talented students from across the world. So every year I would have students that would come from Germany and the UK, but also quite a few students that would come from China. And I found that working with those students was becoming more rewarding to me. And ultimately, I decided to follow those students to their home country. And that's how I ended up here in China. I have been here for 4 years. I was a teacher and administrator at the international school here in Shekou. We can go next, please. And I have a daughter. You could see at the previous slides, she is, as a mathematician, I'll say she is 12 and 11/12 years old. Her birthday is coming up, and I'm here with my wife as well. You can see that we have some of the instructional practices, some of the pictures from our classrooms. One thing that I want to talk about briefly, I mentioned the tie to our, my tie to CTY. We have very advanced students here at basis schools. An example of that is with our math programs, they are accelerated. Generally, the math teaches 1 grade above the chronological age of the students. But an example is for grade 5, we use a 7-8 US curriculum book. So our kids are held to very high standards, both academically and behaviorally. So thanks very much. I look forward to any questions you have.
Thank you, Jim. From upper primary, we'll move into our upper school. Our upper school is the compendium of our middle school and senior school. While we're still growing, we put them together into the upper school. And as head of upper school, Mr. David Krupski.
Good morning from China. My name is David Krupski, as Connor had just mentioned, and I am the head of the upper school. We have a very unique situation, is that we are growing into our what we would normally consider a middle school and high school. And as we are still growing, this means there's a lot of opportunity to join a team that is working through the curriculum that Dr. Wu had mentioned, and also starting to implement the AP curriculum that many of you might be more familiar with coming from the United States. And one of the great things about our team is that we have our very strong department chairs who really take the lead in working with their departments and working with their teams to make sure everybody is growing as a teacher and being able to meet the needs of all students in the classroom. I'm very excited to be a part of this team, and I'm very excited to also grow along with them, because there's some really, really great teachers here. They're doing really great things, and there's some really great things happening in our classrooms. Next slide, please. One of the things I think you'll notice from some of these pictures is that we also try to incorporate and do a lot of great things in our classrooms. And we have activities, we have full labs, and we have a lot of great events that take place either on campus or off campus that allow our students to be involved a little bit more, rather than the traditional sit in front of the in the classroom and listen to a teacher talk. And I think this is what makes our upper school really great. And as we grow into grade 11 and grade 12, the opportunities to offer more AP classes and even some upper level electives that some of our teachers are thinking about right now, things like anatomy or physiology or quantum physics that some of our teachers have the abilities to teach, gives you an idea of what might be available for those that come in later on that have a certain skill set that maybe we don't have yet. So we're definitely looking forward to adding quality teachers and people that are excited about joining a growing high school. So thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you.
Thank you. And I would just apologize to David. That was our coffee machine going off in the background. all the faculty are allowed to drop by and have coffee anytime they want. But I was joking with David before we started the webinar that I was going to drown him out with the coffee machine. The coffee machine decided to do that itself. No comment on the skills there. So, and it speaks a little bit to the relationship that we have here. I'm glad that the whole team is here to speak with you, because we got to have fun. We got to enjoy each other and depend on each other. I'll take a moment here to say that everybody in this room has had to depend on each other, because Tanya was delayed in her arrival, and James picked up all of the work in the primary until she could get here and back onto our regular time zone. And everybody knows that they can depend on each other here. It's part about being in an international school with a community sense that we're all in this together. So thank you for that. Can we get the next slide, Tim? Oh, which is a perfect segue into talking about our teachers and the kind of people we have and the people that we're looking for. So I'll ask Tanya to step into that, and then I'll pick up on the back.
Yes, so clearly our teachers are our greatest strength. And we're very fortunate that we have a very diverse teaching staff from all over the world. This brings with it a lot of great ideas, a lot of different practices, which of course we then align to be more consistent vertically and horizontally. And this makes for passionate conversations, and we help each other grow and learn together. So ongoing professional development is a very big part of our school and our curriculum and our culture. I would also add that in ECE through grades 4, we use a co-teaching model. And within that model, 2 classroom teachers are together, one expat and one local teacher. And they work cohesively in all areas of the day, in planning and instruction and transitions, all responsibilities, communicating with parents, parent meetings, etc., reporting, looking at data. So these are really important aspects. And by using this model, we're able to meet the needs of all of our learners and differentiate to a much higher degree than we would with one classroom teacher and even just a teaching assistant. We also have teaching fellows that join us from China, and they are completing an interim or practicum of their after university year here, and they are very helpful because not only are they learning and acquiring real world skills to begin teaching in their own classrooms, but they contribute in many ways to supporting our teachers and our students as well. In grades 5 through 11, we use expert teachers, and I'm going to pass it now to Mr. Jones again to speak further about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tanya. One of the great things about our community here of teachers is that we are looking for people who have experience, because we also are very anxious to take in energetic new people. We have a very broad spectrum on our teaching scale. And so we're asking people to come and bring their experience. And we're also asking people that are looking for new experience, because we have a very healthy mix of people here who are able to contribute to the overall growth of the school. David has just come over here. I'm going to ask him if he wants to speak just for a moment about the people we might be looking for to fill our AP courses for the future.
Sure. Thank you, Connor. Yes, very quickly. So we do offer 5 AP classes right now, some math and science courses and AP Human Geography, but we obviously have a need to offer more. AP Psychology. There's a possibility of AP Environmental Science. We have also AP English, which both language and literature. We have computer science classes. We have art classes, AP Music Theory. So I think we have an opportunity here for expert teachers like yourselves to join us to be able to offer your expertise to our students who will need to take these AP classes in order to get into those universities they wish to join.
Thank you, David. I think the one reason that that's key is that with our curriculum and the way that we're trying to bring our students forward, and we expect to have them with us from ECE through to graduation, is that we have a responsibility to make sure that they're ready for those AP classes early on in their high school, which is a focus on language acquisition, skill acquisition through the middle school years. And so there's a lot expected of our students and of our teachers and of a team of people that are willing to help and support each other. So thank you for that aspect about our teachers. I think next we're going to be speaking about our campus.
Hello again. So as you can see from some of the pictures here, the Futian campus is located in Futian District, and I'll let Vicky talk more about the area, but it's the Central Business District, and the school is located right in the heart of that. And so this school was built purpose for our school system in 2020. And so the first part of the building, what is now the ECE and some primary, is was built in 2020 for the first class. And then last year in 2021, much of what you see here with the field, the pool, this was all then added later on for September of 2021. So really for the upper school, as I mentioned before, this is our second year, and this is our second year in these facilities. So as you can see that we have some wonderful labs for chemistry teachers. It's a beautiful, well-manicured, well-maintained campus. Very large buildings, very nice sized classrooms, fully integrated technology. And so it really is a great place to walk in and just start teaching, and you feel a part of this newness. As Connor had mentioned before, there's a lot of great opportunity here, and you feel that even when you walk on campus. The bottom right-hand corner is a picture of actually our on-campus living, which I actually also live there because of its convenience. I'm very close to work, of course. It's not a very short commute, but it allows me to also be close to my family and walk right home from the office at the end of the day. So I really enjoy this. Next, please. And as you see further, we do have a planetarium and telescope, which both sun and stars. We have a very nice, large 500-seat auditorium. And as you can see from the very large picture, our early childhood classrooms are very large, very nicely set up. And we have a very nice sized library that continues to add both Chinese and English books. So really joining us, you walk on campus and you can tell this is a new school, but when you get here, you feel as if the school's been around because of the way the teachers and the school itself is run, that it feels very normal, just an everyday routine. And that's a nice feeling to have, where you have the new campus plus the feeling of expertise on campus. So thank you.
Yeah, I've said before, when people ask me, while it's an ECE to grade 12 school, it feels more like a university campus. I think the majority of our faculty live on site, which is really nice. There's an apartment chat group and a real community there. But the whole physical space, it's new, it's beautiful. We're still figuring out what it can do. We've only had a few productions in our theater, and yet it's just an amazing space. So thank you for that. We'll get the next slide there. Oh yeah, so I know this much about the city, and I've really enjoyed being here. But Vicky, who hasn't even been here that long, is one of the people I go to for understanding everything from good restaurants to places to go on the weekend. Vicky?
Hello again. So you can see from those pictures that it's a really beautiful city. It's there, you can see tradition, you can see an incredible modern urban metropolis, and you can also see the coast. So you can ask for more, you can ask for good weather, and we have that. It is approaching the end of November. I am wearing sandals, and the last time I had that was in Southeast Asia. We are here just on the border, so much is offered to us. The city itself, you can see in these pictures, the one on the top, there's a tall building there. That is one of the biggest in the world. If I remember right, it's top 4th. Sorry, I thought it was top 3. I've got Connor telling me it's the 4th biggest, and that's the Ping An Tower. And the view there on a clear, fine day is just incredible. I made my parents' day when I was able to be in the observation deck there, and I sent them a picture of my home and my work. So those of you who have elderly parents can understand just how excited they got being able to see those two things at the same time. So then you can see from that light show just how vibrant the nightlife is. I know it doesn't exactly show you in that picture, but every day can be a celebration if that's what you're looking for. There are outdoor things to do, there are indoor things to do, there's a foodie culture, and also lots to explore in terms of tea. And surprisingly, for those of you who want to go to a Michelin star restaurant, you can do that. And those of you who want to belong to a wine club, you can do that. And I say that not to diverge into alcohol, but there's one province that has recently started offering wine tours, just like in California. So it's really, the things I've discovered in China have been so exciting. Can we see them? And wait, one more thing on that bottom left. Can you go back for 1 second? That bottom left there, that boat is actually in the middle of a restaurant area. It's not at sea, it's a hotel. And that was the funnest thing to stay there. And if you've got children, they will absolutely love it, because you feel like you're on a cruise ship, but you're right there in the midst of, it's called SeaWorld, and there's all kinds of restaurants, and whatever you want, whatever you can imagine eating, you can find here, whether it's a Mexican restaurant, a Turkish restaurant, an American restaurant, it is all here. Let's see the next slide, please. Thank you. And so you can see all the different kinds of walks that you can take, and there's lots and lots of malls. If you want to buy it, it is here. The most exciting thing in terms of going shopping is if you take the metro, it's ridiculously fast. I can take a train to go shopping in a neighboring city, and I can get to Guangzhou in 20 minutes, and I can visit people I used to work with when I lived in Chengdu, and I can spend the day with them, and it's really incredibly easy. For people who want to bring pets like I did, I've got animals, and Shenzhen is a pet-friendly city. They were the first in China to have pet quarantine hotels. So they are a place that love people, they are a place that love animals, they are full of people who will try and help you. I remember living in Malaysia, and I was trying to buy something, and the shopkeeper saw when I walked in that perhaps I wasn't going to be able to speak Malay, and that made her a little bit nervous. So she hid under the table and was very disappointed when I went to the table and asked for help. But in China, I have the opposite experience. They see me coming, they get out their trusty phone, they have a translation app, and 99% of the time we get what we need sorted out. So it's a very convenient and easy place to live. So if you have any more questions about China, you can ask me that in the Q&A, and I will do my best to help.
Thank you. This particular school in this city is not a hardship post. You can get pretty well anything you want from home. There are specialist stores and groceries. You can get anything delivered. You can get food from any culture around the world, either delivered or there's great restaurants. I particularly like, because it's a new, young, vibrant city, that anything that you would expect from a metropolis like New York is here, but you can also go across the road and have an experience of an older version of the city that's also totally culturally what you would expect. So it's really a wonderful city to have our school in, and we do take advantage of it. Next slide here. This is where I'm going to pass it back over to our hosts to talk a little bit about teaching with BASIS International and Bilingual Schools in general. We're all still going to be here, so if you have any questions that you'd like to pass along when we get to the Q&A, we'll be happy to pick those up. So thanks again, and look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you, Tim.
Hey, well, Connor, thank you to you and your team for sharing some great insights about the school, about the city. Absolutely one of the most vibrant cities that you could be in, and I love the diversity of food from around the world. Very, very great restaurants around the area both where you are as well as where the international school is. So really love Shenzhen. One of the things I really love about your campus is particularly in the one of the main halls, you do have images of Greek philosophers. You have the icons of Chinese philosophy and wisdom. And it's really kind of that melding of Western and Eastern thought and taking the best of both. And so I really love that depiction really is a significant visual of what you're doing and really kind of melding the best of both worlds. And so
I
really
agree with you, Tim. It's we have Plato and Confucius looking at each other as if they're in dialogue, overlooking our main concourse and the library. And I think it speaks to a lot of who we are and we're trying to be, because also overhanging that space is a giant wire sculpture of a whale. So it's the unexpected, the traditional, the modern. It all comes together right here.
Yeah,
thank you, Tim.
right.
And please, we'll pick up any questions at the end. Thank you.
Sounds good. Well, thanks so much for sharing those thoughts. So in terms of our broader network, the Basis Curriculum Schools Network is comprised of 6 Basis independent schools in the United States, along with 10 international campuses around the world in Asia. And our mission, which is something that's really important to us, is really focused both in providing students with a transformative education with the compulsory education and curriculum of China, combined with the cutting edge basis curriculum through exceptional teaching and faculty mentoring. We're really looking to produce graduates who have the broad intellectual capabilities, international perspectives, and critical thinking proficiency, along with creative problem solving skills, to really be true leaders in their future academic and professional lives. And something that is really stands out for us is that we literally have it built into our mission to really focus on developing and mentoring our teachers. So we have exceptional instruction and integration and interaction with the students. It's a key piece of what we're looking to accomplish. In terms of the basis curriculum, core components include in the younger years, really establishing that love and respect of learning. And then in the middle school grades, really enhancing that academic mindset. It's building the critical thinking skills, creative problem solving abilities. And then in the high school grades, really fostering college readiness and preparing individuals to move on to high level academic futures, as well as really instilling in them the ability to understand what their interests are and pursue those to a deep level. In terms of what the results have yielded, we do have exceptional results. Over 95% of the graduates across our network have been accepted into top 50 universities. And over 75% of our graduates have been accepted into top 30 universities. University programs like Boston University, Carnegie Mellon, Columbia, Cornell, Duke, the Imperial College of London, MIT, Princeton, Rice, Stanford, UCLA, University of Chicago, Oxford, University of Toronto, and other great arts and design schools like the Rhode Island School of Design. Really great results that the students have been able to accomplish and get into many of their schools of choice. All right, with that, I want to pass things over to Tony. So Tony Cagle is the recruiter that works directly with our school, and she'll share a little bit more insights on what it's like to work and teach with Basis. So Tony, we'll pass to you.
Thank you, Tim, and thank you, Basis Bilingual team. It's always a pleasure seeing you. And for those of you who are watching the video today, if you have the opportunity to work with this team, they truly are amazing and just passionate educators, and that really, bring everybody up to a high level. So perfect. Well, today I want to start by talking about, why teach with Basis, why specifically teach with Basis bilingual school there in Shenzhen. When we do have that collaborative learning environment, you can see just from our team here that collaboration is really important with Basis. So you saw our team really work together to put this webinar together and to really dive in and share the excitement. It's the same as on the campuses. You will be meeting with teams across your grade levels, across the school, across other subject areas, and across other Basis schools, and really collaborating with one another and having those passionate conversations like Tanya said. It really is an exciting thing to be a part of. We have high academic culture, high expectations for our teachers and our students alike. Many of our teachers coming in are very passionate about what they do. And so it spreads into those conversations and those daily activities that you're doing with the staff. We are a growing network, so Basis is really good for teachers who are looking to grow into their careers and, maybe take on more responsibility. As our schools grow, we are looking for more admin and chairs and different positions to fill, and looking for great teachers within our system to really help fill those positions. And of course, we have amazing students with our basis schools. You will see that they come in with just this love of learning and just excitement to be there every day. So it really is something special. Next slide. Perfect. So why teach in China? And again, why basis bilingual there in Shenzhen? A lot of the team talked about the convenience and modern living. So Shenzhen is a really great city because it is so new. So they do have a lot of cultural aspects to it, which is really great, but there's a lot of new elements to it as well. Easy shopping. Vicki mentioned the great aspects of you can have all kinds of different restaurants. So if you are feeling Mexican food or Turkish food, she mentioned, whatever it is that you want, you can usually find it in Shenzhen. And in China in general, education is highly valued. Many of our teachers come in with just such a families look at them, and revere and really look up to them. And it really is something wonderful for our teachers to feel, as I believe teachers all around the world should have that expectation. And of course, it's just experiencing a new culture. China is really warm and friendly culture. So if this is a new experience for you and international teaching is something new for you, China is a great transition to that because they have such a warm and inviting culture, as well as our school in general is, really warm and welcoming and setting everything up for you. And of course, cost of living. So if you are looking to save a little bit of money, China is great for that, as we have a great package that we'll talk about a little bit later, but also there is a lower cost of living than many places around the world. So it's a great place if you want to come and save some money. Perfect. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about that expat package and what to expect from that. The first are the travel benefits. So when you do get hired on with basis, we will pay for your flights coming to China at the beginning of your contract and your flight home at the end of the contract for you and any dependents that you bring. In addition to that, we will provide you with a annual return home allowance so that you can travel home and see your family each year. We will work with you to get visa support for you and your dependents coming over. So you are able to bring over one spouse and 2 children. Unless your spouse is a teaching spouse, then you can bring up to 3 children with you. One thing to note, though, as you heard time and time again from the team, our curriculum is quite rigorous. So that is something to consider when you are thinking about bringing your child over. Are they able to keep up with the rigor, and is it going to be a good fit for them? For housing, we have some great housing. You heard David talk about housing that is right there on campus. It's an easy walk so that you can go home at the end of the day and you're not having to travel far to find housing. So housing is paid for, it's fully furnished. If you are already in China and specifically in Shenzhen and you have an area that you want to live in that you would prefer otherwise, you can certainly get a stipend. That's always an option as well. We do provide global health coverage for our teachers and your dependents. And again, we will cover tuition for your dependents as well. But again, as I mentioned, you do want to think about that rigor part and really making sure that it's going to be a right fit for your student. One of my favorite things that you get at the school are free meals. So on school days, you'll get breakfast and lunch for free. And the school campus lunches are just amazing. They're not your typical cafeteria meal, so it's something to really look forward to and really enjoy. They really bring in amazing chefs to put something together amazing for students and staff. In addition to those items, we do have a retirement and other bonuses. So you can expect a 10% retirement bonus at the end of each year. And this is really so you have an opportunity to put that towards some sort of retirement choice of your choosing. We also have a completion bonus once you finish your contract that you'll be awarded. And then there are some other additional opportunities for bonuses on top of that as well. Perfect. So some of our requirements for teachers coming in. So in order to get you your Z visa, you do need 2 years of full-time teaching experience. In addition, we do require that you have a bachelor's degree. Many times we look for people who have a mastery of their subject area. So sometimes that looks in the form of, maybe you have a math degree. and you're going to be a math teacher. But one great thing about our schools is we're also looking for teachers who are continuing their own growth. So maybe you are a teacher who got a bachelor's degree, but have now later in life found teaching. So we're definitely willing to work with those teachers who are currently in the process of obtaining your teaching certification or higher education. As long as you are really passionate about your subject. So that brings us to point number 3. We look for teachers who are passionate about teaching, excited to be at school. And that really goes back to that collaboration and that environment. When you can bring all these amazing teachers together who are just excited to be there, passionate about what they do, you can really do great things. We do have very high academic standards again, so a very rigorous curriculum that we've touched on several times throughout today's webinar. And with that, we are looking for teachers who are hard workers. Now, we do understand that teachers all over the world work really hard, and at BASIS, it's no different. So be prepared for that. And just somebody who loves working with students and has that ability to get students excited about that learning. So part of being passionate about something is being able to share that passion with somebody else. So really that ability to engage young minds. Of course, with current situations and things, there could be some visa restrictions. Every province is a little different. So as you are talking with your recruiters, we can kind of go through those with you and chat about those. Perfect. So some things to be aware of if you are going to work for one of our schools. The majority of our students are going to be local students. So you will see the majority of students are Chinese nationals, which means that they are learning English as a second language for many of them. So being really prepared to have those special strategies and things in place when you are working with those students is vital. And of course, as we mentioned before, that BASIS Bilingual School is growing. And with any growing school, we are looking for somebody who can be flexible and grow with us. So just be prepared for that. And again, going back to that rigor, any students that you have coming with you, you are going to want to make sure that they are going to be successful. Now, any student we have coming into BASIS, whether they are a local student or a student of a teacher, we do want to make sure that they are set up for success with us so that they have, the best opportunities for them. Okay. Great. Well, we have some great insights on our website, so feel free to check out our career site. We also have a great blog, and you can go in and look at the special blogs just on the BASIS Bilingual Shenzhen campus. And this is a great opportunity to see what other teachers' experiences are like specifically at that campus, and kind of what life is like in the city. So great reads. I definitely recommend that you check out our blog if you haven't already, as well as join our interest list so that you can get great emails telling you about upcoming events like this one. I will turn it over to Tim here for question and answers.
Great. Well, thanks, Tony. Appreciate the insights. And we will go ahead and move forward with questions. Looks like we did have a couple questions that were submitted. So Connor, we'll go ahead and welcome you and your team back to answer any questions. The first question that we do have, speaking to the school, says, very impressive, the primary school that will have a robotics program. What type of teacher would be required for this type of a role?
Who would like to take a question about our ICT and people in primary looking for one of our STEAM or ICT roles? I see Vicky's coming forward.
So speaking for the lower end of the school on this one, so in China itself, there's a little bit of a growing movement to get children really ready for the modern world. So that's where our computer program would touch STEAM and STEM, and in ECE, we're looking at getting children just familiar with looking at how patterns can lead into coding, and then the teachers need to have some understanding. If you're working with the lower school, our kids don't have a lot of English, so you need a really flexible teacher, but then it grows and grows and grows the skills, and our oldest ones in primary are already going and using the computer lab, and we were invited by the children who had made mazes, and they use their coding knowledge to make little mazes, and they showed those off to us.
So we moved from ECE, where we're learning the basics of coding, up through a full ICT in high school, where we're thinking about whether we'll have a full AP course there. So to answer the question, what are we looking for? It's the breadth of everything, from an experienced engineer that's looking to move into education, to somebody that is dabbling and interested in robotics and perhaps interested in running an after-school activity. So there's definitely the breadth, and it is a growing area for us as well.
That's great. One, I'll actually interject a question. So one of the things I've actually been impressed with is the number of awards and recognition that many of the students have received. So can you share maybe a little bit more insight on some of those pieces? Because you have some just spectacular students. So everything from robotics to drones and some of the different things that they've done. Can you share a little bit more about some of the recognition and these great things that some of the students?
I'm gonna throw this to David, because we just had a really great weekend and we got our results on Monday. So David, tell us about our weekend here.
Sure. Hello, everyone again. So let me start out with the great news and then the amazing news. The great news is our students participated in a network-wide speech and debate tournament. This is only the second tournament that we've been a part of, because we didn't have speech and debate last year. And so our students have great skill sets, but they have limited time and involvement in these competitions. And we had one student who won an award overall for Best Debater in grade 7. So that was amazing. We've won a lot of great team awards. This year also, we had a new colleague join us who helped us join the World Scholars Cup, excuse me. And in this year, we had a local tournament here in Shenzhen where we took first as the overall debate team. That's an amazing accomplishment for the fact that we were able to, join for the first time, really learn about this group and participate in this academic program, and then finish first. And so it was just an amazing time. And then I think additionally, we also have internal awards as well. And we have a lot of great students that are doing very well, earning a lot of top academic awards. So we have some very, very, very strong students here doing amazing things both inside and outside the classroom.
Thank you.
That's great. Thanks for those insights. I never cease to be impressed with a lot of what your students are doing, accomplishing, what they're participating in, and not just the breadth, but really the high level at which they're performing and participating in those different events. So appreciate those insights.
When you asked about the awards, as a math teacher, our students here, we just competed in the Singapore International Mathematics Olympiad, and our students did very well with that. In fact, 2 of our students in primary ranked 11th and 17th globally. That's across, of course, the whole world. So we're very, very proud of the accomplishments, and it gives you an idea of the skill level that some of our students have. I just wanted to add that in.
And 17th globally. There you go. That I don't even want to take a look at that test. I'm a little terrified.
Love the enthusiasm and wanting to brag about your students there, James. Appreciate that input. Very good. Tony, next question.
Yes, we have quite a few questions coming in. So how difficult would it be for an expat student to move into a bilingual school? Are they going to have trouble, say, coming in as a kindergartner who maybe only speaks English?
So because you've said kindergarten, I'll let Vicky handle that, and then I'll follow up on the back end.
So I think we actually have an incredibly embracing community for that. And, David or Connor, who live in the apartment, will talk about the community there. But for the ECE, we have there's one teacher who speaks English, and there's a bilingual teacher. So if a child is coming in speaking only English, they will be understood. There are other staff children that we try and partner them up with. And in about 15 minutes, one of my staff leads a small Chinese as an additional language, just to make sure they have vocabulary to play with their little friends. So that's something that's really important to us, to make sure that they can connect with their peers. So we take every effort to make that happen. CAL is also visible for the older children, but for us in ECE, it's that social connection.
So if you're interested in coming to China to either an international or bilingual school, it is a concern to make sure that your overall family are going to be happy. That's important. And so when we're doing the interview process, we do, after we've established a certain level of interest, we would make sure that the entire family moving here is happy. I have at times spoken to people about their children and had them have a really good, solid talk about what level their children are at, what level of challenge their children are looking to do. And sometimes it is a decision maker that this may not be the greatest experience for the children. More often than not, they're saying that their children are ready and anxious to try these challenges. We are a high-end academic school. That's something else that has to be considered. So we will look at that. The number of expat children here, there's not that many. So it has to also be somebody that is interested in perhaps learning the language or in the cultural opportunities that are here. It shouldn't be the final deciding factor, but it definitely has to be something that's considered. And of course, the younger the children, the easier that is.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you, team. Next question. What supports are in place for teachers to really learn the basis curriculum?
Would anyone like to take that one? What supports are available for the teachers to learn the basis curriculum? David is here, and I think it's because David was sitting closest to the computer. There you go.
So that's a great question. For the upper school that I can speak for, we obviously have, and I think probably speak for the entire school. We do have a summer institute, on-site training to get everybody acclimated with basis, what basis is, and that happens either in one central location for all new teachers or on-site. And then from there, we have additional trainings with the departments and with colleagues and with their content teams to work through and help support. Some classes, some subjects are easier to adapt than others. I think that kind of goes without saying. So, chemistry, you look and or physics, the unit 2 is force. And so if you're a physics teacher and you have a lot of background on physics, as I'm sure you do, force is like, oh, I know force, I can teach them, no problem. However, if you join, a 7th grade math and it's algebra 1, you might have a little bit more adjustment to our math curriculum, which is at a higher pace, it's spiraling. And so then we have our content teams that meet weekly to help and support. We have a great team of department chairs as well who are experienced. And I think those two pieces there help as well. And then of course the network, they have set up groups that meet monthly. And then also there's an MS Teams group where they share documents and files. And of course, that all that included is we also have guides to help the teachers get a sense of what objectives there are. We do have a set curriculum, so it's not as if you're coming and say, here's physics, grade 7, good luck. There's a lot of supports there. And then when you get to AP, the advanced placement, we of course are following advanced placement curricula. So that is obviously, that speaks for itself, getting students prepared for those AP exams in May.
That makes sense. So down also in the lower primary, we have the chairs are working with the teachers, the administrators are working with the teachers. We do have, we're working to improve our curriculum all the time here. Again, as a new school, we have a lot of input on that. We have grade level leaders that we're working on to be able to bring that, because we have, say, 6 or 8 sections in a grade, to be able to get the pacing of what we're doing aligned. So there's a lot of work happening right now on that area.
Good, perfect. Well, last question is, once a contract is completed, can a basis teacher transfer between the international and bilingual schools?
Yes, that is possible at the end of contract. It's also possible during contract if there's a promotion involved. So if somebody was at the basis bilingual school here and wanted to apply for a vice headship at one of Chengdu, they could do that. The same the other way around. As mentioned, James is here from the international school, and so people can transfer in. There's not such a hard line between bilingual and international. I just think that it's important for us to be able to point out that we, as a bilingual school, have a responsibility to the Chinese national curriculum to make sure that we check those boxes. Otherwise, in many ways, it's the same.
Perfect. Thank you. Those are the end of our questions. So great job, team.
All right. Well, on behalf of my team here at Basis Bilingual, I'd like to thank Tim and Tony for their time and everybody out there for your time today. And if you're watching in the future, please do send an email to careers@basisinternationalschools.com and or check out our website to see any new postings for positions. Hopefully I'll speak to you, or one of my team will speak to you in an interview process soon. And hopefully we'll be able to bring you on board. Have a great day.
Thanks, Connor. Thanks, Tony. And thanks to your full team there, Connor. Really appreciate the insights and input from the
They're all waving.
Sounds good. And I'll just reiterate, for individuals that can follow us on our social channels and see more information. There's examples of experiences that teachers have had while they've been in China. There's more insights. You can see photos, videos through our YouTube channel. But you can find out a lot more information about our schools and particular opportunities with Basis Bilingual School Shenzhen. So thanks for joining us this evening or this morning, based on where you are. And we look forward to you considering us and working with our school in the future.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Take care.